Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Usually we take a stack of articles or a new piece of tech and, we tear it apart.
Right.
But today, we are transporting you, we are leaving the modern world completely behind and dropping you right into the middle of 1576 Japan.
It's a time and place that I think a lot of people feel they know, maybe through video games or movies.
Oh, for sure.
But the reality is so much more visceral. We're talking about the Sengoku Period, the Warring States era.
Right, and specifically, we're looking at a story that completely upends the usual narrative of that era. I mean, if you picture the Sengoku Period, you probably picture samurai in ornate armor charging across a field, right? Mm-hmm. Big speeches, honorable deaths, heads on spikes, that kind of thing.
That is the standard great man history. It's the history of the daylight.
Exactly.
Yes.
But today, we're looking in the shadows. We're talking about the operatives who made those armies move, the people who stole the plans, spread the rumors, and slipped the knives between the ribs.
We are talking about ninjas.
We are talking about ninjas. But, and I want to be really clear here, we are not talking about the Hollywood version.
No, please banish the image of the black-clad superhero doing backflips off a castle wall.
Yeah, leave that at the door. Right. We're digging into a massive, sweeping historical drama called Nonō.
Or, to give it its full, slightly intimidating title, Nonō, the battlefield of the Non-Volume 1, the fall of the House of Takeda. It's written by Iwashiro Manju.
It's a mouthful, but it's worth it.
It is, and this is a book that I think is a bit of a revelation for English-speaking audiences. It's a dense, researched historical novel, but, it reads like a spy thriller.
It really does.
And it tackles this central tension that I think defined the era. The samurai seeks a beautiful death, but the ninja's mission is survival at all costs.
That distinction is huge. Stop and think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful death versus survival.
Right.
Sounds like some, late-night philosophical debate.
Right.
But in 1576, that was the difference between your family line continuing or being extinguished forever.
Precisely. And for the sake of our discussion today, and to really respect the world the author built, we're going to refer to this simply as this story, or Nonō.
Good call.
Because while it is fiction, the skeleton underneath is very, very real history. These people, these clans, they lived and died.
So settle in. We're going to decode the complex web of the Sanada Clan, who are basically the survival experts of Japan. We're going to meet some incredibly dangerous priestesses. And we're going to watch a great empire, the House of Takeda, crumble to dust. Where do we even start with a tapestry this big?
I think we have to start with the title itself. It's the key that unlocks the whole thing. Nonō. What is a Nonō?
Yeah, I'll admit, when I first saw the title, I just assumed it was a name. Like field belonging to a woman named Nonō.
That's what most people would think. It's actually a title or a job description. Nonō, or sometimes Nonōmiko, refers to wandering priestesses.
Wandering priestesses.
Specifically, these were women in the Shinshu region, which is modern-day Nagano Prefecture, who traveled the countryside.
So like religious figures, traveling nuns, something like that?
On the surface, yes, absolutely. They carried a specific cylinder on their backs. They often carried a small bow called an azusa yumi. They would travel from village to village, performing dances, praying for the harvest, and crucially, performing kuchiyos.
Kuchiyosi. That sounds familiar. That's spirit channeling, isn't it?
Yes, they would act as mediums, calling down the spirits of the dead to speak to the living. And you have to imagine, in a time of constant war where everyone had lost someone,
It's essential service.
It's a vital service. But here is the aha moment that this story just pivots on completely.
The cover story.
Exactly. Think about the logistics of the Warring States period. It's a time of intense lockdown. There are checkpoints everywhere.
Right.
A samurai cannot just walk into an enemy province. He'd be arrested or killed instantly. A merchant might get through, but he's being watched. But a priestess, a wandering holy woman.
She's invisible. Or not invisible, she's part of the landscape.
She is invited into the inner chambers of the castle to pray for the Lord's sick wife. She sits in the village square and listens to the peasants complain about troop movements or rice shortages.
Of course.
She travels across borders without suspicion because harming a Nonō was considered incredibly bad luck.
It's the perfect cover for an intelligence network.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just brilliant. You're weaponizing empathy and superstition.
And that is the core premise of Nonō's field. These women, the Nonō, are the eyes and the ears of the Takeda and Sanada clans.
Wow.
They are the internet of the 16th century.
That's a great way to put it. This brings up a term that we see in pop culture a lot. Kunoichi, the female ninja. And usually that conjures up images of, let's be honest, scantily clad women in video games.
Which is a source of constant frustration for historians, I have to say. The term kunoichi is historically debated. Some say it's just a pun on the kanji for woman.
Yep.
But this story takes a very grounded, very intelligent approach. It argues that kunoichi weren't female commandos storming castles. They were they were social engineers.
Social engineers. I like that. So instead of scaling a wall, they talk their way through the front gate.
Exactly. They use psychology, performance, and observation. I mean, think about it. If you can channel the spirit of a warlord's dead mother and tell him exactly what he's secretly afraid of,
You own him.
you own him. That is power. Real power.
So the setting for all of this, for our story, is 1576. This is right after the Battle of Nagashino.
A pivotal, world-changing moment. The Battle of Nagashino is often called the first modern battle in Japan.
Why is that?
Because the Oda clan used massed ranks of matchlock muskets technology to just slaughter the pride of the Takeda clan, their cavalry tradition.
So technology versus tradition, and the Takeda were the big bads,
Yeah.
right? They were the superpower of their day.
Under the great Lord Takeda Shingen, yes, they were terrifying. But Shingen is dead by this point. His son, Katsuyori, is in charge.
And after Nagashino.
The Takeda are bleeding. They lost their best generals. All their enemies, the sharks, are circling. And caught right in the middle of this collapsing empire is the Sanada Clan.
The Sanada. We need to talk about them, because they are effectively the protagonists of this whole saga.
Yeah.
So, in the context of the Sengoku period, who are they?
Imagine a small family squeezed between three superpowers. To the south, you've got the Shush. To the north, the Uesugi. To the west, the Oda and Tokugawa are coming.
So they're cornered.
They are landlocked, they have limited resources, and by all rights, they should have been crushed, wiped off the map.
But they weren't.
No, they survived, and they didn't just survive, they thrived because they were smarter, faster, and arguably more ruthless than anyone else. They are the godfather family of the era.
That's a great comparison. And the head of the family in this story is Sanada Masayuki. And I have to say, he's a fascinating character. He's not a hero in the traditional sense.
No, Masayuki is a pragmatist, a survivor. He embodies the concept of Chukyoku stratagem. He's known as the man of two faces, sometimes 7 faces.
What does that mean in practice?
It means he will swear allegiance to the Uesugi on Monday, betray them for the Takeda on Tuesday, and start secret negotiations with the Hujo on Wednesday.
To an outsider, that just looks like treachery. Pure and simple.
But to his people, to his clan, it's salvation. There's a scene in the story where the weight of this really hits home. Masayuki knows that sticking to a rigid code of samurai honor means his entire clan gets wiped out.
Right.
So he chooses to be the villain in everyone else's story. He chooses to lie so his people can live.
It's a heavy burden to carry. But this story gives us a really personal, really powerful motivation for why the Sanada are so desperate to survive. It's not just politics, it's grief.
You're thinking of the Pine of Okita.
Yeah. This part really got me. It's the backstory of Masayuki's older brother, Nobutsuna.
Nobutsuna was the head of the clan, the golden child. He was the warrior, ideal, brave, gallant, straightforward, the perfect samurai.
And he died at Nagashino charging the guns.
He did. He died an honorable, beautiful death.
And his wife, Lady Okita, the way the book describes her waiting for him to come home, it's just devastating.
It uses a classic Japanese poetic metaphor, the cedar versus the pine.
Explain that.
Nobutsuna is the cedar, sugi. In Japanese, the verb sugiru means to pass by. The warrior is always passing by, leaving home, going to war, moving on.
And Okita is the pine, matsu. And matsu means to wait.
A woman's lot is only to wait. It's just heartbreaking. She plants this pine tree, and even after she knows, in her soul, she knows that he's dead, she keeps waiting by that tree.
Oh.
And that grounds the Sanada cunning in this deep, deep sadness. Masayuki isn't scheming for fun. He's scheming because he saw what happened to the honorable brother.
Honor got Nobutsuna killed.
Exactly. And Masayuki refuses to let that happen to his family ever again.
And this brings us to the next generation.
Yeah.
Because Nobutsuna's daughter, Kioni, she's not content to just wait by a tree like her mother.
No, she wants revenge, and this connects us right back to the Nonō, because the Sanada don't just hire these spy priestesses.
They run the school that trains them.
They do, the Miko Mansion's in Netsu.
Which sounds lovely.
It's a fascinating location in the story. It's presented almost like a boarding school or a convent, but it's an intelligence academy. It's Langley in the mountains of Shinshu.
And it's run by one named Mochizuki Chiyome.
A legendary historical figure. I mean, her existence is debated, but she's a huge figure in ninja lore. In this story, she was a noblewoman, a widow from the Koga ninja lineage, who was tasked by the late, great Lord Shingen himself to create this network.
So she's got the ultimate mandate.
She does, and she takes in orphans, runaways, girls with nowhere to go, and gives them a purpose, a family, and a very particular set of skills.
But the training isn't just, flower arranging and prayer.
Oh no, it's rigorous. Literacy, geography, cipher breaking, and a very specific, very unique form of combat.
Tayami-buri. I want to dig into this because the story makes a big deal out of it. It translates to movement of the graceful handmaiden.
Right. And this isn't just a fancy name. It's a description of the mechanics. Think about how a samurai fights. It's kenjutsu. It's rigid. It's linear. It's about structure and brute force. A 100-pound teenage girl is not going to beat a 200-pound samurai in a contest of strength. It's just not going to happen.
So they don't try to.
Exactly. Tayami-buri exploits the expectation of femininity. It looks like a dance. It uses circular movements, spinning, flowing sleeves.
So it's not about blocking a sword strike head on.
No, never. It sounds a bit like Aikido in principle. It's all about redirection.
Aikido. Okay, I can picture that.
When the samurai swings his sword, he commits his weight. The Nonō doesn't block it. She spins with it, adding her own momentum to his, destabilizing him. The graceful handmaiden aspect is the camouflage.
You look harmless.
You relax your opponent by looking like a delicate dancer, then you use centrifugal force to snap a joint or throw them completely off balance. It's deadly.
There's a character who teaches this, Uname. And Uname is, complicated.
Iyoku Une. He is one of the most interesting characters in Non's field, for my money. He's a male spy, a mountain ascetic, but he possesses this androgynous beauty.
And he frequently disguises himself as a woman, a dancer, or a shrine maiden.
He does. And this highlights something really modern about this story. The spy world is fluid. There are no rigid categories.
Yeah?
Uname teaches the girls that gender, just like a uniform, is a tool. It's a disguise. If the enemy expects a man, be a woman. If they expect a warrior, be a dancer.
Don't be what they're looking for.
Be what they're not looking for. The scene where Uname demonstrates Tayami-buri is mesmerizing because it shows that true strength in this world isn't about muscles, it's about adaptability.
So we have the Sanada pulling the strings, and we have the Nonō acting as the agents on the ground. But a story needs a heartbeat, and usually that comes from a relationship. In Non's field, we get Oboro and Saizo.
The Romeo and Juliet of the espionage world, though, maybe Romeo and Juliet is too soft.
Yeah, a little bit.
More like two predators circling each other.
Okay, I like that better.
Yeah.
So Buro is one of our main Nonō. She's talented, she's empathetic, she can read people, but she's also young, a little naive.
She believes in the mission. She represents the human side of the spy. She feels the pain of the people she spies on, which is both her greatest strength and her greatest weakness.
And then there's Kirigaku Saizo.
A name that rings bells for any anime fan. He's one of the legendary Sanada 10 Braves in folklore.
Right. He's usually depicted as the cool, silent ninja on the hero's team.
But in this story, he starts as a rival. He is from Iga.
And we need to clarify the difference here because it's a big deal. Sanada Netsu spies versus Iga spies.
It's a clash of corporate cultures, really. The Sanada spies, the non-Russian, they're local. They are fighting for their homes, their lords, their families. It's personal. It's emotional.
And the Iga.
The Iga, represented by Saizo, are mercenaries. They are a business. They are guns for hire.
We do the job, we get paid, we feel nothing. That's the vibe.
That's the Iga brand. And Saizo looks down on Oboro initially. He sees her emotional attachment and thinks it makes her weak. He thinks her magic is just a parlor trick.
Their first meeting in the mist is such a classic setup. He threatens to kill her, she stands her ground, but there's this electric tension between them.
Because Saizo is intrigued, even if he won't admit it. He's lived his life in black and white, kill or be killed. Oboro lives in color. She cares.
And that's new to him.
And I think deep down, Saizo is terrified that he might care too.
Well, let's talk about that magic that Saizo mocks, the Ikiguchi.
The living mouth.
This is Oboro's specialty. We mentioned Kuchiosi is calling the spirits of the dead. Ikiguchi is different. It's channeling the living.
It's the ability to speak the thoughts of a person who is miles and miles away.
Okay. Now, you're the expert here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this real? I mean, does the story want us to believe she has actual supernatural powers?
That is the beauty of Iwashiro Manju's writing. It dances on that edge. The scenes are written so they could be supernatural.
How so?
Oboro goes into a trance, her voice changes, she reveals secrets she couldn't possibly know. It's spooky.
And her butt coming.
But if you look closer, you see the tradecraft. Oboro is a sponge. She listens to every rumor in the market. She analyzes the political landscape. She reads micro-expressions. So when she channels a warlord, is she using telepathy? Or is she constructing a terrifyingly accurate psychological profile based on millions of data points she's absorbed?
It's like Sherlock Holmes disguised as a medium. It's a supernatural wiretap.
Exactly. And frankly, in the end, it doesn't matter if it's magic or psychology. The result is the same. The warlords believe it.
And because they believe it, they act on it.
In the intelligence world, perception is reality.
That reality, however, is getting darker by the minute. The backdrop of Volume 1 is the slow, agonizing death of the Takeda clan.
This is the narrative arc that gives the story its immense weight. We aren't just watching spies steal scrolls. We're watching a superpower commit suicide in slow motion.
And at the center of that is Takeda Katsuyori, Shingen's son. And history has been really, really hard on this guy. He's often remembered as the fool who lost the empire.
It's a classic case of the son's dilemma. How do you follow a god? Shingen was a military genius, a political mastermind. Katsuyori is a good man, a brave warrior. But he is not his father.
And Nana's field paints him very sympathetically, doesn't it?
It does. It shows him as a man trying desperately to hold together a crumbling house while everyone around him is looking for the exit. The tragedy isn't that he's incompetent, it's that he is betrayed at every turn.
The betrayal in this story is visceral. It's not just enemies attacking from the outside.
The rot comes from within. You have the old guard, men like Nagasaka Chuchikan and Adobe Shinosuke.
The yes men.
They are the toxic middle managers of the Sengoku period. They whisper in Katsuyori's ear, they flatter him, they isolate him from the realities of the front line, they tell him what he wants to hear.
And when the Oda armies start marching for real, the rats flee the ship.
Kisa Yoshimasa, his own brother-in-law, defects. Anayama Baisetsu, a senior relative and one of the 24 generals, defects. We see Katsuyori moving his court, trying to find safety, and every single door he knocks on is slammed in his face.
And this is where the Sanada shine. In this world of constant betrayal, the treacherous Sanada are the only ones holding the door open.
It is the ultimate irony of the story. Masayuki sends letters. He pleads, "Come to Iwabitsu. My castle is impregnable. We can hold out for years." He even builds a palace for Katsuyori in the mountains. He's all in.
But Katsuyori doesn't go.
He doesn't go. Because Nagasaka and Otobe, the sycophants, they poison his mind. They say, you can't trust Sanada. He's a schemer. Go to Iwadono instead. The Lord of Iwadono's family, you can trust him.
In Iwadono.
Is a trap. When Katsuyori arrives at the gates, they bar the way and fire muskets at him.
Oh my god.
It is the moment that Takeda die, not on a glorious battlefield, but in front of a locked gate, betrayed by kin.
That leads to the finale at Mount Tenmoku. And listeners, I want you to brace yourselves for this. The description of this in the story is, it's haunting.
It is the beautiful death in its most tragic, pointless form. Katsuyori, his wife, the Lady of Sagami, and a handful of loyal servants are cornered in the mountains. They have nowhere left to run.
The Lady of Sagami. She didn't have to be there, did she?
No. She was a political bride from the rival Hooge clan. Her brother, the head of the Hooge, offered to save her. He sent a message saying, "Come home, you don't have to die with the Takeda."
She stayed.
She stayed. There's a scene where she and the other women of the court prepare for the end. They're surrounded, the enemy is coming up the mountain, and they fix their hair, they adjust their robes, they compose death poems.
Wow.
Her poem. The hazy moon clears from the clouds, and with it my heart's last shadow vanishes.
It's chilling. They're about to be slaughtered, but they're focused on dignity, on presentation.
It highlights the samurai ideal perfectly. If you cannot win, you must die beautifully. You must control the narrative of your end.
But, and here's the pivot for the entire series, the Sanada don't die.
No, the Takeda are extinguished, their beautiful death is final. But Masayuki, the Nonō, they're already moving, they're already planning the next step.
This connects to the themes we promised to unpack. There are some Japanese concepts in Nanti's field that are absolutely essential to understanding what's really going on under the surface.
Let's do a quick cultural decode, it's worth it.
Okay, first one. Kechimyaku.
Kechimyaku. Literally, it translates to blood vein or lineage, but in the context of this story, it's almost religious.
It's more than just DNA then.
Oh, much more. It is the spiritual transmission of duty, of talent, of the soul of a clan. The characters believe that loyalty and strategic genius are carried in the blood. So when the Takeda fall, the obsession becomes who carries the Kechimyaku.
Who carries the legacy?
Exactly. The Sanada view themselves as the spiritual successors to the Takeda military genius. They are fighting to preserve the Kechimyaku of the clan, not just their own lives.
Okay, that adds a whole other layer. Next concept. This one is a bit meta, you said. Kyujitsu Himaku.
Ah, yes. This is a term coined by the great playwright Shikamatsu Monzaemon, but it applies perfectly here. It means the membrane between truth and fiction.
The membrane, I like that image.
Yeah. Shikamatsu argued that art, real art, lies in that thin skin between what is real and what is made up. If it's too real, it's just a documentary, it's boring. If it's too fake, it's silly and you can't believe in it.
But the sweet spot is in between.
Non's field lives in that membrane.
Right. We have historical battles, real people, real dates. That's the truth. And we have spy priestesses doing supernatural-ish things. That's the fiction. Maybe.
But the feeling is true. The author uses the fiction of the Nonō to explain the truth of how information and influence actually moved in an era without telecommunications. That is Kyojitsu Himaku, using a lie to tell a deeper truth.
I love that. It totally validates the historical fiction genre for me. Okay, one more key term. Gekkokuju.
The defining word of the Sengoku era, the low overcoming the high.
Where the bottom topples the top.
Exactly. It's social chaos institutionalized. Servants kill masters. Branch families overthrow head families. It's why the betrayal of Katsuyori happens. In a stable era, loyalty is absolute. In the Sengoku era, loyalty is a calculation.
And the
Sanada are the masters of Gekkokuju. They are a minor family that ends up outmaneuvering giants. They are the ultimate expression of that chaotic energy.
So we've covered the tragedy, the training, the romance, but I want to zoom in on one specific action sequence before we wrap up because it brings all these elements together, the Siege of Taketu Castle.
This is a standout moment in the book. It's where we see the Sanada ninja team fully assembled and in action.
We have characters like Genba and Rokuru.
Katawa Genba is your classic rogue. Dashing, reckless, steals a golden horse armor just to show off in the middle of a battle.
I love that guy.
And Rokuru is the steady, quiet professional, the one who actually gets the job done while Genba is being flashy.
And they're trying to save the Takeda heir from a falling castle. The description of the escape. It's not glorious, it's not a movie, it's messy.
It is. Uname is there using smoke bombs. They are scrambling through mud and fire. Genba uses the kuji and the 9-syllable hand signs to focus his mind. Rin, pish, tut. It shows that for them, this is spiritual warfare as much as physical.
But they fail to save everyone. There's a Death Shino, a young Nonō who is Genba's childhood friend.
And it cuts right through the adventure. It reminds you that being a ninja isn't fun. It means watching your friends die and not being able to stop to mourn them because the mission, the survival of the heir, comes first.
Which brings us back to the question we started with, the central provocation of this whole story.
Who possessed true honor?
We have the samurai at Mount Tenmoku. They die beautifully, they wrote poems, they are remembered as heroes of tragedy.
Yes, they followed the code to the letter.
And then we have the Sanada, the ninjas. The Noni, they ran away, they hid, they lied, they survived. By the samurai code, they are cowards. Dishonorable.
But look at the result. The samurai are dead. Their lineage is gone. The Takeda Kechimyaku is extinguished.
And the Sanada.
They lived. They protected their children. They preserved the legacy. They built a future.
Nonō's field is arguing that survival is actually a higher form of honor.
I believe so. It suggests that the beautiful death is actually selfish. It's an ego trip. Look at how noble I am, dying here. True honor, the story argues, is grinding it out in the mud, eating shame, and doing whatever it takes to ensure your family has a future.
Wow.
In that light, the spies were the only ones who actually cared enough to live.
That is a powerful, powerful take. It completely reframes how we look at these shadowy figures. They weren't hiding because they were scared. They were hiding because they had something to protect.
Exactly. They had everything to lose.
So why should our listeners pick up Nonō's field? Who is this for?
Well, if you are a learner, a history buff, it's a masterclass. You will understand the geography and politics of 1576 Japan better than any textbook could ever teach you.
It absolutely breathes life into the map.
If you are a romance fan, the slow burn between Oboro and Saizo is exquisite. It's all tension and longing. It's tragic and beautiful.
And for the action fans, I mean, the descriptions of Tayame-buri and the castle infiltrations alone are worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. It's top-tier action writing.
But a warning. This is just Volume 1, The Fall of the House of Takeda.
The story is just beginning. The Takeda are gone, which means the Sanada are now completely alone in the wolf pit. Masayuki has to navigate the chaos between Oda, Huju, Uesugi,
All the shirks are coming for them now.
and young Yukimura, who will one day become the greatest warrior in Japan, is still just a child watching all of this unfold.
And there's a quick mention of a baby born. A baby named Sasuke.
Sarutobi Sasuke. The legend begins here, in a cradle.
I am absolutely hooked.
Yeah,
I need to know how they survive the next 10 years. It seems impossible.
you'll have to read the book.
I certainly will. Listeners, that was our deep dive into Nani's Field by Iwashiro Manju, a story that reminds us that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't to die for your beliefs.
But to live for them, survival is the ultimate resistance.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next deep dive. Until then, watch the shadows.
And stay alive!
안에서도 답이다 야마코의 스마타리 No 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 no